Excellent.
And I just started the recording. I hope people are all right with that. So, Chris, I guess you want it to be an interactive meeting?
Definitely.
Very good. Yes, we will all give our best shots here.
Still waiting for some participants else.
I beg your pardon?
We're still waiting for some participants.
Well, we have currently 16. We can also start, and while
Yes.
you're busy, we let people in.
Yes, I think we start because it's 8 o'clock, my
Okay.
clock, mid there. So when it's our time to start it, right?
The floor is yours, Fred.
Thank you. Dear guests, dear fellow Toastmasters, dear members, welcome to our club tonight. This night is a special evening because I have invited Mr. Chris Nielson from the United States as a keynote speaker, and he is going to give us the night of his life. He has been recommended by another Toastmaster who has been here as an encounter, Mr. Craig. And so I hope you will enjoy this evening, and if you're not a member yet, I hope it will make you decide to become a member of our club, and enjoy is the most important thing. Have fun, and okay, I'll let Chris do the work. So Chris, thank you for being our guest and giving your workshop. So I want to give the floor to you. The word is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and Toastmasters was instrumental in my journey to be with you here today. I went from a speaker that was very fearful that you would see the defective part of me to one that now has a ton of fun, and I hope I have a bunch of fun with you. I want to empower all of you, just even to start this meeting. I love feedback, and I'm here to serve. And I want to empower you all with this. You are now all emperors and empresses. You are now all emperors and empresses, meaning if you like what you hear, thumbs up. If you're not so sure, give the sideways thumb. If you don't like it, give me the thumbs down. I actually like it when people give them their honest opinion. If you love it, 2 thumbs up. And I have you in gallery mode for me too. So I'm constantly looking at facial expressions, thumbs up. And if you want to cut my head off, give me 2 thumbs down. And I'll probably want to know why you want to cut my head off. And actually some of the coolest things come out of that, because I realized I did something that I probably shouldn't have done in that moment. So feel free to cut away if you need to, and we'll go to that. All right, I want to test the emperors and empresses out there right now with this statement. And this was key to me becoming a more free speaker, one that has a ton of fun. I was programmed. In my program, we'll get to this program, I hated to be wrong. Now I actually like to be wrong. And let's test all of you out. How many of you think I still like to be wrong? Do you believe me when I say I like to be wrong? I like the skepticism. Thank you for that. All right. I appreciate that. Let's see if I can change some minds. I used to hate to be wrong. So I would have done this too. No way do you like to be wrong. I used to hate it, because if I was wrong about this thing out here, I was wrong. If I was wrong about anything, a word, a phrase, something I said, a table topics question, I felt like I was wrong as a being. And I didn't realize that program till a lot later in life. I lived most of my life with that program. because I hated to be wrong so much, I'd struggle. Everything I did felt like a test of who I was. And when I changed that program, it was like taking a 200-pound backpack off my back. Now, when I'm wrong, it's just feedback on how I can get better as a human being. I've got back my curiosity, my insatiable curiosity for learning. I love to learn. And that means when I'm wrong, it's an opportunity for me to grow. It means I'm not wrong. I was just wrong about something I said or did. Now let's test this group, see if I changed any minds. How many of you out there think or believe me when I say I like to be wrong? Still some skepticism. I appreciate that. Okay, I think I flipped a few just sideways. Okay, let's live with that. And what I get is this. Here's the big thing: is we're all programmed. Let's test the emperors and empresses out there. You've all been programmed. Do you believe that? All right, looks like okay, good. Sometimes I'm amazed. Some groups go, nope, I haven't been programmed. I was programmed by a TV commercial. I was programmed by well-meaning parents. I was programmed by culture, society, by wherever you are, there's programming going on, many well-meaning programs. And one of the things that I'll share as well, I'll share a recipe that I share with corporations, from Microsoft to Hilton to Sony to small companies to organizations like Alzheimer San Diego, that is changing. It's changed my life personally and changes organizations. I share it with a lot of Toastmaster clubs, and some of them really love it. But you can also take it on personally. The fear, this fear in programming, and I'm going to share with you in just a few minutes, if you guess it, the fear that I think, the modern fear that underlies almost all modern fears. And if you're aware of what it is, you can do something about it. Any guesses? And I love, first of all, this, I love guesses. I especially love bad guesses, and even more love funny guesses. So either put your guess in the chat or come off mute and share it out loud. This is very interactive. And we'll actually be playing some games later. So I want to set you up for that too. Number 6 kind of thing I share is this, is that on my recipe, my usually 5-part recipe, it really has a number 6 though. It's Google's #1 factor in high performing teams. It's psychological safety. So in any of these games, you can always say pass or not participate or volunteer. So I just want to make this a super safe environment. I see we've got some guesses in already. Fear of being wrong, I think it underlies that. The fear of social embarrassment, I think it underlies that. Fear of hardship, it underlies that. Fear to be rejected, it underlies that one as well. Any other guesses? Fear, oh, what was that? Fear of embarrassment, definitely underlies that one. I had that one. Fear of living, I like that one. So, I'm alive. I think some people are afraid of living. I could be. Any other guesses, or have you given up? Wave like this if you say, I've given up. Thank you for that. And okay, here it is. Fear of imperfection. It's maybe a little bit around that. It's the fear of being inadequate. And check it out. So let me play with these, see if you agree with me and underlies it. If you knew you were adequate and you got rejected, would you be worried about it? Or fear that you're not enough? If you knew you were enough, would you be afraid of being rejected? If you knew you were capable, would you be afraid of being embarrassed? You're not afraid of that. Fear of imperfection. You have an imperfection. Everyone has imperfections. If you knew you're enough, you wouldn't have that fear that underlined that. Let's see. What was the other one that I missed up top? Let me raise this. So the fear of being wrong. If you're wrong, so what if you're wrong? I actually like to be wrong now because I'm learning. Now I do like to be right still. Fear of social embarrassment. If you do something wrong, but you know you're adequate, you know you're enough, you're still not worried about it. So let's see, let's test this group. Who would agree that that fear underlies those other fears? The fear of not being enough for the situation, fear of being inadequate. I see 2 thumbs, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, excellent. So when you're aware of that, it has power. And I want to jump to the recipe that I share that helped me become a more flexible, playful, powerful fun speaker. And hopefully we can play with that today. Let's see here. Let me do this. I'll put this up there to tease you. But before that, I'll share how I was programmed and some of the crazy things I did because of my program. I'll just do that fairly quickly. Fear. I was programmed by a TV commercial in the United States that said, never let them see you sweat. Never let them see you sweat. And I sweat a lot. So that wasn't a good TV commercial for me to watch. Now, the good thing is no sports coach ever said to me, hey, Chris, don't sweat so much. But people on my own team in scrimmages would go, I don't want to guard Chris. He's a little too slimy for me. I don't need him rubbing off on me. And other teams would say the same thing. So I knew it. I was very self-conscious about it. And in middle school, which was 8th grade, 8th level or 9th, we have kindergarten it was 8th grade, I was to give a speech. I was sweating thinking about it the night before. I was sweating as I walked to class. My sweat was picking up now. As I sat down, I was like, please don't pick me. I know she's picking everyone, and when she did, I stood up and I poured sweat like I've never poured sweat before. It was like a monsoon was released from the top of my head and it just went streaming down my face. And my face went this pure red. And in that moment, I wanted to disappear and felt like wanted to die in that moment, just be gone. And that moment actually haunted me for over 30 years. It was like every time I'd get up, it goes, ha! Every time I'd start to sweat, it would be like a magnify it. And I did crazy things so you wouldn't see me sweat. I'd buy 2 shirts exactly the same. And if I had a chance, I'd switch it out right before a presentation or anything that was public. I did this, which I will never do again. I still have 2 shirts occasionally. This I will never do again. I half froze a bottle of water. So it was ice on the bottom, just total ice. On the top, it was almost ice. It was in like a freezer. I took it out of the freezer just before, had it in a cooler. I was being introduced for the speech that I felt like was important to me. I put it on the back of my neck. That felt great. That did work a little bit. But then I was still sweating and I did this just as she was introducing me. And when I started talking, I could tell my tongue was numb and I was slurring my words. And I got all self-conscious about that. And I started to pour extra sweat. I will never freeze a bottle of water again before a speech. I don't even like ice water. You know, if I'm invited to a big dinner and I'm getting up to during the dinner, I go, can I please have one without ice or warm water? Just the thought of that, slurring my words like that again, do not feel good. Then I did this at my first improv performance. The first show, not my first class, but the first show, there was about 50 people there. And we were at the time used to playing in a group of about 15 just for ourselves, but there were 50 people there. It was her Christmas show. Jackie Lowell, my improv teacher's Christmas show. And it was in San Diego, California in December. And unfortunately it was 80 degrees outside. And I knew it would be hot in the room. So I packed a cooler with 2 ice packs in it. And when I walked in the room, I said, oh no, it was hot in there. I could tell I was starting to sweat. Jackie didn't care about the air conditioning. I walked in the bathroom, I opened my cooler and I took out an ice pack, one of those plastic ice packs, and I put it down my pants. And this is a true story. And it was an exhilarating experience. But I thought someone's going to see it in the front of my pants. So I put it in the back of my pants. Also felt very good. But then I thought to myself, as I headed for the door, I go, oh, you can't do it. What if it falls out on stage? That would be so mortifying. You know, you would just, you could. So I put it back in the cooler, shut my cooler, went out and did the performance without the ice packs. But I did that. The other thing I did was this, and I thought it was brilliant at first. I bought women's panty liners. Yes, women's panty liners. And I put them here, of course, you know, to soak up the sweat in the armpit. And in practice, I was moving around, I was active, I was sweating, but nothing here. Go, these things work. No wonder they give confidence. So I walked into I love laughter. feel free to take yourself off mute if you're really laughing. I walked into that performance with an extra level of confidence. And when I was speaking, I was sweating. I could tell I was sweating, but I'm good. I'm good to go. This worked in practice. I'm good. I could tell now I was really sweating. And I looked down and there was a big oh no, another oh no. The rest of the speech, I was like this. Because there was a panty liner dry island in a lake of sweat. Perfect outline, both arms, you could see it. My arms were down until I was home by myself and I could take it off. It was a bad experience and I will never wear panty liners again. Now, I'm glad I did it for just to tell the story. But the one person though, I think about a month ago said, Chris, you should have bought heavy flow panty liners. I did not think about that at the time and I did not try anything after that. But I wanted to share that with you because you know where I was. Every speech I got up, I felt defective and you'd see the real me and I thought you'd reject me. And I didn't think I could actually survive creating a second ghost. And some probably turned down speeches. I didn't put myself out as much because I was so afraid that if I wasn't prepared, I would sweat like that, like I did in middle school. And now there's many speeches where I start and I don't even know what I'm going to say. I do a lot of improv with them. And I'm going to share this particular recipe with you that really impacts my life. And I hope some of you choose to take it on after you hear it. And you'll see the power in it as well. Maybe use it in your organization. The first two blanks up on top are the two-word basis for improv. The two-word kind of basis or principles improv is based on. Any guesses? Remember, funny guesses, really appreciated. Bad guesses, throw them out. In my Speaking Skills Plus group, which I created for myself on Zoom even before the pandemic, a playful place of inevitable success to grow your speaking skills. One of the things I say is be willing to be bad so you can eventually be good. Be willing to be bad again so you can eventually be great. So feel free to just throw anything out and ask yourself, why am I not guessing if you're not guessing in the chat, or come off mute and smile. Respite the question. I like that. I love guesses. Any other guesses? Anyone else have a guess? It's okay to laugh. And if not, laugh. Oh, Simon, I like you, Simon. Laugh. If not, laugh some more. Yes. A good question. Any others? Or you can say, I give up, but I would be creative. I like that. Be creative. I take it no one's played improv before here. Oh, you have? Have you else? You have? Do you know what it is then?
Yeah, we do it every meeting, but okay, perhaps we are not, how shall I say, so inclined to be as creative as we could be.
I think you do it every meeting, and I say life is improv. Who's gotten their script today? No one has a script that they know every word that's going to come out. Jessica knows the answer. She typed it in the chat. It is yes and. Yes and. Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, it's yes and. In improv, life is improv, and this particular recipe is used by master improvers to make it more fun and supportive. So the first one's yes and, to affirm and add something to what your partner gives you. Improv is not undercutting people. It's about supporting people. Even if they goof up, a goof up or mistake can turn into the coolest thing when someone really supports you with that. The second principle I share in this way, I believe it's the #1 skill in leadership, sales, negotiation, and relationships. And we'll see emperors and empresses if you agree with me after we come up with a skill. What is that skill?
Can you repeat the question?
Insight. Yes, I can repeat it. This is the #1 skill that underlies leadership, negotiation, sales, relationships, and I would say even communication, rapport. I think rapport actually helps boost the skill. I love that. Guess. Thank you for that. Who else listening? Beatrice listening. That is the one I'm looking for. Connection boost your listening. Definitely listening. Yes, it is listening. And let's see who agrees with it. So my emperors and empresses out there, do you agree that listening is the #1 skill in all those areas? I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. All right. Excellent. Thank you for that. Toastmasters is a great organization for improving our listening. We get to work on our listening skills every day. If we all agree that that was, or most of us agree that that was the #1 skill in all those areas, this is a great organization to do it with our evaluations, with the table topics questions, all these opportunities, listening to other people's speeches. This is a great opportunity to boost our skills. #3 is how do we take listening to a whole nother level? And this is magic for me. When this became more in my life, that's when speaking went to the fun aspect. And it took a while. This creates magic and it takes your listening to a whole nother level. What would that be? Chat or come off mute and just throw it out there. Remember, funny guesses that are not correct are really understanding, humor. Aha, love those. Repeat, rephrase, repeat and rephrase definitely takes listening to another level. Seeking understanding, that ancient wisdom. If you want to be understood, first seek to understand someone else. As a CEO friend of mine said, the LUV method. Listen to understand and then validate. He said that's like giving someone a hot fudge sundae. The agreement is the cherry you put on top. It's still good, even without the agreement, if you listen to them, understand, and validated them. Now, that's not what I look for with my #3. My #3 has magic in it. And we'll see if you agree with me after I share it with you. Magic. All right, here we go. Oh, Beatrice is typing something, I can see. It's going to be sharing good story. That helps, obviously, when you share good stories. Let's see if you agree with me. #3 is be present. Be present with the people. Don't be the dueling monologue, waiting to say what you were going to say. Be fully present with them. And let me ask you, would it be a gift if someone yes ands you, listens, and is present with you? Not judging what you say, just fully present there. Would that be a gift by itself? Give me a thumbs up if you think that'd be a gift by itself. All right. Thank you for all those thumbs. Excellent. #4 is, and let's go to the magic in there. And this is where I might get some disagreement. And I usually get disagreement when I say this. When you are present, there is no fear. Or let me say it another way that is not quite so strong. When you're present, fear disappears. Amira not agreeing with me. Look at all these people. I gotta love it. Down, Simon's fully down with this. Amira is at least open to hearing it. This. So let me go with it. So fear is future projection. Even if a tiger was in front of you, about to bite into you or claw you apart, your future projecting brings the fear in. If you're not afraid, it might be because you have a plastic wall or a strong plastic wall between you and the tiger. Or the tiger you've raised from a little kitten tiger, and you know it's not going to actually attack you. But the future projection is where the fear comes in. And that's why I suggest for beginning speakers and even advanced speakers, don't memorize your speech. Why do I say that? Ooh, that's controversial for some people too. Why don't you memorize it? Because if it's word for word, here's what happened to my brain. Alz, did you have something you wanted to share there? I saw you come off mute for a second.
Yeah, I think it's worse if you lose a thread of your story, because then you have nowhere to go. You completely stop. You get indeed anxious, fearful. Yeah, it's worse. It's true.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And here's how I explain it too. When you try to memorize it, your brain goes, if you miss one word, your brain almost goes, ding, 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 something's wrong. That takes you out of the present moment, something's wrong. And you start to get self-conscious, at least I did. And then your vision tunnels because you're in the fear zone. Your blood's been pulled from the front of your brain back to the primitive part of your brain. You're in fight. flight or freeze mode. And not many good things happen in that when you're speaking, at least. It might be good if a tiger is chasing you, but it's not so good when you're speaking. Because let's see, who's been in that tunnel vision? I've been in there lots of times. Give me a thumbs up if you've been tunnel vision before. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, my favorite part of speaking in the past was right after I gave a pretty good speech and I got to sit down. And I go, I can finally relax. I don't have to worry about this, because I'd be working about the important ones a week ahead, a month ahead, the day ahead, 5 hours ahead, just before. Some of it was miserable. I can't believe I'm still speaking when I think about that because it was tough. And so when you're present, so let me see if I change any minds. When you're present, your fear disappears. Or so you can give me the same one. Oh, still the same. Okay. Well, we can work on that later sometimes. But I would say get present and you tell me if you're fearful when you're present. When you were, the favorite things in life I do is when I'm present. That's when magic happens. It used to be basketball for me because that was the one activity that brought me fully present. I didn't think about what I'm going to do afterwards. I didn't think about all the things I was dealing with before, going back in my past. I was in the moment and it felt great. Number 4 is make your blank look blank. This is a perfect time for funny answers. And it's not make your face look interested. That's not one of them. And it's not make your smile genuine. It's not make your underwear clean. It's none of those. It's make your blank look blank. Who has it? Come on. I like this, someone who said perfection is doomed to fail. I would agree. Make your listener look interesting. Yeah, I like that's actually, Els, you're headed that way. You're going in the right direction. Yeah, I like that. Any other guesses? And ask yourself, if you're not guessing, my improv teacher always asked me this when I was sitting back, not getting up to participate. What are you saying to yourself in your head? Because there is no bad guess. It shows the audience that you are not perfect too. I like that. Yeah. Makes your speech look interesting. Make your speech look interesting. That's a good idea to make your speech look interesting. It's also a good idea to have an interesting speech. Yes. All right. Make your body language look good. Yes. I'll give you this. Now, it looks like I've had this group give up again. Make your partner look great. Make your partner look great. Improv is not about how I can show off. It's how I can set other people up to succeed. And it constantly plays off each other. And it's actually make your people look great. Let's see. The best is to let the audience do the work. Absolutely. Let the audience do the work. And here's actually, let me add addition to that, a different way to look at that. We are co-creating here today. There are things I'm going to say today that I've never said before. Hopefully they're really good. They may not be. Number 5, I'll share number 5 in a second, and you'll get what I mean when I say that. But make your people look great. Your people, your partner, and your people can be your significant other. They can be your kids. They can be your best friend. They can be the checkout person. They can be your coworkers, your clients, your customers, your fellow Toastmasters, your guests. Make your people look great. So let me ask you this. How many of you would like a few people in your life or a lot of people in your life that yes, and you listen, they were present while listening and they set you up to look great? 1 thumb for a few, 2 thumbs for a lot. All right, I seeing a lot of 2 thumbs up there and some note taking. I'm gonna fill all these blanks in a minute and you can take a screenshot if you want. Number 5, Jackie Lowell shared it like this with me. She said, Chris, well, she didn't say Chris. She said to everyone, there was about 15 people in the room. She said, this is a secret to success in improv and life. And I was leaning in because I wanted to know that, because I always want a kind of secret to boost my skills. And when she said it, I said, no, that can't be it. No, thank you. I don't want that secret. That's not the secret. And here's what she said. It's dare to blank. Well, let's see if we have any guesses first on the dare to blank. Dare to blank. Dare to fail, that you're on the right track. Fail, dare to fail. But more graphic is what dare to propose. I like that one. Dare to be wrong. And dare to make mistakes. All on the right track. Exactly on the right track, but she was more graphic with the word she used. I'm going to give it to you unless I see one on there. And dare to be naked. Where are you, Dorlena? Thank you. Dorletta, is it Dorletta? Yes. Thank you for making me laugh like that. Yes, dare to be naked. Sometimes that is tough to dare. And I have to say this, I'm naked from this part down. No, that's not true. I've got clothes on. She said it this way. Dare to suck. And when she said that, I said, no, thank you. I'm told I didn't come here to suck, because remember, when I failed, I was a failure. If I sucked, I was a public failure. I had no interest in that. But the person next to me was almost giddy, like floating out of their chair when they heard this thing. And the other person's going, yeah. And I'm going, no, 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 no. I've lived my entire life avoiding that stuff. And eventually it took me a long time to own it. But I realized when I failed in improv, someone was there to catch me. Once I finally trusted that and that I wasn't being judged for being wrong, that's when I could finally take more risks. And really also when I became safe in here was a really key to it for me. Because when I first went to Toastmasters groups, there was always this one jerk that was in every single Toastmaster meeting that I was in. And he was harsh. He was a blank. I didn't like him because he was me. I was harshly critical of myself. You had this thing called traumatizing topics or terrifying topics. I don't know if you still have that. You might call them table topics. It was horrible for me. I answered a question and I'd be driving home beating myself up about, why did you say that? How come you couldn't think of this thing? It was bad. And let me check with this group. Raise your hand if you're a little bit hard on yourself. A little bit hard on yourself. Raise it out of the screen if you're really hard on yourself. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, thank you for that. I was horrible to myself. And let me fill in the blanks here for you. Choose my virtual background to give you one that has them all there. And you can take a screenshot if you want to. And what I get is this: if you take these on, magic happens. You know, I use them for innovative leaders and teams, especially dare to suck. And number 6, if I would add to number 6, as I said earlier, is create a psychologically safe environment. Create a safe environment where people can dare to suck. So then they can really dare to excel. Since then, I've done a talk called Dare to Succeed, because you have to suck before you can succeed. I've done a keynote called Dare to Suck. And with I think about 75 CEOs in the room. Dare to Suck was on a huge screen at the bottom of this theater seating. I had the song Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling, playing in the room. I danced into the song down the stairs. And I said, come on, get up and dance with me. And do you know how many people out of 75 got up to dance? The zero is close. I would say the MC of the event, she got up with 30 seconds left. The host of the event that has CEO of the company that ran it, he got up with 5 seconds left in the song. I don't know if you give him even full credit. So it's somewhere between 0 and 2, I think is the correct answer for this. And so many people afterwards says, I was just about to get up. When I got to the bottom of the stage and I got on stage and that huge Dare to Suck was on the screen, I go, what's the title of my talk again? And why didn't you get up to dance? It's not like I was a great dancer showing that you couldn't compete with. I'm not that great a dancer. I'm okay, but I'm not great. What I get is this, and what I've learned over probably the last 10 years is most people know intellectually that failing leads to success. Most people don't own it. And for those who's been in Toastmasters here over 7 years, raise your hand if you've been in over 7 years. Okay, Just a few of you. Okay, those have been in Toastmasters over 7 years. I bet you've seen this. There's some Toastmasters that have been in 10 or even 20 years that you've seen them over those 7 years and they have not gotten better. They're either the same, they're shaking their head. Thank you, Dorlette. They're shaking their head. I mean, they're staying at the same level, or some of them even have gone down because they're not taking risks and they're not taking that feedback in to get better. They're delivering the same talk day after day after day. This recipe creates magic. To yes and another human being is connecting, to listen, be present, make your people look great, and dare to suck. Now, a lot of this, we're going to be even more interactive now. And remember, it's a safe place. You don't have to interact, but I'd love for you to give it a go. In this exercise, you're going to ask me a question you think I'd have to say no to. Ask me a question you think I'd have to say no to. And sky's the limit on your question. Ask me a question you think I'd have to say no to. What would that question be? And as you're thinking about your question, I like to use, will you marry me? Jessica, where are you? I don't see you on camera yet. Hold, before I get to Dorletta's question. Yes, Jessica, I will marry you. Now the ball's back. Thank you for asking me. I'm a big yes. All right. I got a couple other questions here. Let's see. Esther, I'll go with Esther first. Where are you? I need to see your face. Esther, where's your face? Where I'm gonna get it hidden with the chat. Hold on. There you are. Oh, there you are. Thank you. Do I know you? I think as a human being, I do know you. The more I know myself, the better I know other people. So in that way, I know I'm fragile in ways and I know I'm resilient in other ways. Do I know you fully? No. Can you ever know another human being fully? But do I know a version of you? I think so. And I do my best to do that. Thank you for that. Dorletta's getting really serious with me, so we'll go back to that one. Will you kill a human being? I will kill a human being, not a human being. In a virtual reality game, I will, and I've done it. And in fact, my friend had these VR glasses that you play this orcs game, and I realized the orcs throw an axe at you, and I realized and you have to duck. I was doing about 200 squats in this game, and the next day I couldn't even move. There's incredible work out there. All right, answer truthfully. Simon's got something. I haven't even read the full answer, Simon, but I can tell you might get me here. Let's see. Answer truthfully. Have you been to the physical moon? Oh, in my mind, yes. I've been to the physical moon. I've walked on it. I felt it. I've even died there before. And the other night, I'm in Surprise, Arizona, which is a northwest suburb of Phoenix. The moon was shining so bright the other night. I was swimming in a pool, and you could see to the bottom of the pool. It was so beautiful. Felt like I was on the moon. I know that didn't fully answer your question, Simon, and I can tell by your incredible wording that you have a good one. Any other questions? Do I got them all there? Or is there any that I missed? I usually get asked, would you give me $1 million? Chris, would you give me $1 million? I said, yes, just help me make 2. And there's power in this. When I work with CEOs, I work with anyone that leads teams. I say, ask me a question that you've said no to a lot, and I'll see if I can say a version of yes and to it. Now, did I say a full yes to any of your questions? I did to Jessica, and that I said yes, Jessica. So you asked and I've answered. Yes, but let me go with this. Let me tell you a brief story from San Diego, Alzheimer San Diego, where we teach caregivers to use these principles to work with the people they care about. And one granddaughter shared this story that we keep repeating because it's so powerful. She was caring for her grandmother that has Lewy body syndrome. And Lewy body syndrome means she sees things that are not there. She sees visual hallucinations. And oftentimes it's people that scares the grandmother. And so they'd fight, they'd clash. Grandmother would say, there's someone in your car, or there's someone out on the street. And sometimes the granddaughter would take her out, open the car door, and says, there's no one in here. There's no one in the car, Grandma. And they'd have a clash. And then she learned this, and she did this. Grandmother, her were doing dishes. And she said, there is a gorilla in your car. And the granddaughter goes, yeah, that's my boyfriend. And the grandmother looks back all confused about that. What? She said, he likes to wear gorilla costumes, Grandma. That's just the way he is. And she looked again, and then they started to laugh and connect. Now, some people want to be more truthful than that, but it was a way she could play with her grandma. There was nothing out there. There was no one in the car at all. The granddaughter just said what popped in her head. She said what popped in her head again about a boyfriend wearing a costume. Those were things just popped in the head. And there was a connection. A couple psychologists said no was the most dangerous word in the world. And how they came to that hypothesis was this. They put people in an fMRI scanner, and when they just flashed the word no, about a dozen stress-producing chemicals were produced in the body that put people into fight, flight, or freeze. That happened. All right. So how are we doing so far? Any questions, thoughts, feelings? Are you liking it so far? Excellent. All right. Love that. Thank you. And if you're not liking it, give me some suggestions. Thank you for that. Let's go to this. Yes, and yes. Let's play a game. What's the easiest game to start off? I need 2 volunteers. 2 volunteers to play. And let me explain before you volunteer and you don't even know what you're volunteering for. Yes, and storytelling. We're going to tell a story in front of the audience, and it may not be a good one, but we're going to tell it together. We're going to get someone that's going to stay in the audience, I want them to give us a hero and a theme for our story. So we're going to make up a story on the spot. I'm going to start it with like a version of Once Upon a Time, something, something. And then you're going to say yes, and then something will come to you, and you'll say a phrase, a sentence, or a couple sentences. And then the next person will say yes, and it's magic. When you actually say yes, and something will come in. And it's okay if it doesn't. You can say yes and pass, and then the next partner will pick up the story right there. So feel free to just jump in and say yes, and. Who is going to play with me today? Yes, Michael. All right. Anyone else? We need one more. Especially in a group, we should get one more in this size group. You know, and here's what I look at as this. If I was in a group like this 10 years ago, I'd said, I'm going to sit back and watch. I'll watch, because my first improv class was almost my last. And Michael and I can do this on our own, but this is a chance for you to go, yes. Amura, is it Amura? Amura.
Amaru.
Amaru. All right, thank you for being with us. And we're going to go the order. Myself, Michael, Amaru. Amaru. Thank you for saying that. And then back to me again. And we'll keep going until we think we have a wrap up to the story, or if we're going too long, I'll just find a wrap up point to the story. But from our audience, that's not one of the 3 of us, give us a theme and a hero to work with. Yes. Who's got a theme or a hero? Can be anyone. Anyone. Co-create this with us. Public transport. Okay, we're going to use that in it. Who's the hero on the public transport? Rapunzel. Rapunzel in public transport. Here we go. Let's see what happens with that. I've never gotten Rapunzel and public transport together. So once upon a time, there was a young woman named Rapunzel. She wanted to see the world. She so badly wanted to see the world. She grew her hair so long. And I'll pause there. And that's where Michael gets to jump in and say, yes, and add
yes,
something.
and she grew it so long
that while she was on the public transport, she got a comment from one of the passengers sitting right in front of her, what beautiful hair, beautiful, gorgeous long hair she was wearing.
Excellent. Perfect.
Yes, and their child decided to play with her hair.
Yes, and when the child played with her hair, the child put little twisted little things into her long hair.
Yes, and her hair was getting really messy. So actually she started to dislike this whole situation going on. And she was wondering whether at some point she should either shave it bald or just cut it to a much shorter length.
Yes, and she decided to instead change the public transport. So she decided to go in another train.
Yes, and when she went in the other train, the train conductor looked at her very suspiciously because he felt that long hair was a danger to her and other people on the train.
Yes, and that quite freaked her out. That weird look from the conductor. She was wondering like, what did I do wrong? But she didn't notice that her whole hair looked super super messy by the child.
Yes, and when she was really frustrated and decided to leave the train, the hair got caught up in the rails.
Yes, and when she stepped out of the train, she found out that the train was heading towards an accident. It was going to run over a mother and her baby girl pushed in a stroller. And she found that her hair, she grabbed a railing, and with her hair, she stopped the train.
Yes, and her hair was actually like cut from half, but she didn't mind so much because she did manage to save the child and the mother.
And we'll end it right there. She's now a hero from that long hair. So could any of us have told that story on our own?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Just the different ways someone else's mind adds, fills in the blank is incredible. You know, where we go.
And it was so random. It was going all places. It's really like.
Yeah. So how did it feel for my two participants? How did it feel playing that game?
Really funny. It was. I was a little bit nervous, but it was really nice.
I like that you're nervous. You did it anyway, and you had fun, and you had a nice experience with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me. But it got easier and easier because of I think the yes and also works really encouraging, as you said. So
there's magic in that yes and. I realize if you just allow yourself to say it, yes and, something comes to fill in the blank. Isn't that what happened for you? Something starts to fill in that blank, and you might not even know exactly where you're going at first, but something comes. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So it's powerful. I want to have all of you get this experience. And can we go into breakout rooms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can we do 5 breakout rooms total? Is that a possibility? If not, I can adjust. But here's what I get here. In a smaller breakout room where I'm not there, where it's just you and your people you know, or guests that you know, just yes and each other, and we'll get a hero. Let me give a hero for each one. We'll do, yeah, so hold on just before you join. We're going to go in there for about 3 minutes total. And Al's, you're running it, I believe. So in about 2.5 minutes, close the breakout rooms, but yes and each other. Keep track of about 3 minutes, and I'll stay out of the breakout room, so I'll stay with you here. I'm going there, yes and each other. Start a story on travel. Your story is something to do with travel. Come up with your own hero and have a ton of fun. And then come back and tell me how it was. Let me start my timer. All right. And if this group that's, my guess is they're going into the breakout room. Els, you're muted.
Yeah. Can you find how to do it, Donata? Yes.
Yeah, she must have found it. Okay. Do you want to do a yes and story with me, Els?
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
and.
So yes, I love that. So you start the story and then I'll do the second line.
Okay, and it had to be on travel, eh?
Just mix travel in any way you want there.
Okay. 10 years ago, I was in the Netherlands. Can hardly believe that. Let's make it 20 years ago. I was in Namibia. So much nicer. Very warm climate. Hardly any people. Traveling on a nearly empty road.
Yes, and on that nearly empty road, I felt excited that adventure was around the next corner.
Yes, and I did see actually the most beautiful I saw it recently. The most beautiful antelope just next to the street.
Yes, and when I saw that antelope, I felt inspired with its beauty and grace.
Yes, and I was frantically looking for my camera because you have to catch this special moment, or don't you?
Yes, as I frantically looked for my camera, I was starting to miss out on being present. And then all of a sudden I said, just be with the antelope. And I took a mental picture.
Yes, yes, and that mental picture is still with me today. It lasts so much longer than the physical one.
Yes, and because of that, I found a way to become more present when I did things. I knew I enjoyed things more when I was present.
True, true, yes.
Excellent. Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know how to close the breakout room? Oh, close.
Yeah, let's give 15 more seconds and then hit close.
Okay, lovely.
Because some people forget, they see the button and they come back immediately. I should say other groups have, when they see that close and they've got 60 seconds, they sometimes do a fast story, a 60 seconds. So go ahead and hit the close breakout room.
You teach me something today, I must say.
What did I?
I'm not a very good Zoom master. Normally, I like somebody to support me. But
I like people to support me with it too, but I think you're doing great.
Now the breakout rooms, it immediately divided up everybody on its own. Terrific.
Yeah, so that's how I use it now. It's harder. I have not figured out how to easily put specific people in breakout rooms. Now the version, you can choose which breakout room you put people in if they decide ahead of time.
Yeah.
I'll see, this is a good sign that they're still telling stories if they're not back to us yet.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome. Some smiling faces. Everyone's still alive. Everyone survived or thrived during that game. Is there anyone want to share their experience playing that game? Good, bad, all, any share is good.
Something more fun than being mad and make fun of it, making everyone and yourself laugh. It's going to be, if you ridicule everything which you ought to take serious, you have a lot of fun, but you learn a lot as well.
So say that again, just condense that for me. What was the basic thing there?
If you make it so funny, if you're ridiculous, if you overdo it, you get a story which is really funny, and you at the end you can't stop laughing. So this whole speech is
Brad, great recipe and suggestion. And actually, I do that in actually some of the speaking games I play with people in my Speaker Skills Plus group, is get so ridiculous, then it pulls some of your self-consciousness out of it. Like one of the games I play is soap opera, where you get overly dramatic about, you burnt the toast. How could you? You're ruining my life. Think about how kids are, little kids, when the little thing goes wrong. That is a key to it, Fred. So thank you for sharing that. That's a key to having fun during it. Anyone else have a different experience or similar experience or anything that you want to share? And you don't have to share if you don't want to. All right, we're going to move to another game if no one wants to share. Okay, here's the next game.
I do have a question for you about
Sure.
these kind of exercises. How do you make sure that whatever you say does not close a loop? So, and that's in a particular sense is that when we have this like time constraints or anything, how do you make sure that you can keep the story going without actually just ending it right there?
You can end it right there. In one of the groups, I could give better instructions for the group to go in. Sometimes you'll tell multiple stories instead of just one story. It's okay to end a story fast and then go to the next story. And some people have used when they get the 60 seconds to breakout room close, they decide to do a fast story, whatever they can create in 60 seconds. Now, there's techniques you can do like that. I'm sure the Pixar story formula and some of it, and I may share it today. And it's, and then, you know, you have until finally is the last thing. It's, so here's the formula. Once upon a time, blank, blank happened. Every day this person did this, but one day something's different. That led to because of that, until finally, and then there's, and after, and then from then on, you know, it's whatever they take home, you can always add something onto it. Like movies do sometimes. You had come to a conclusion, but then you see what they did after. Or see another challenge that comes into it. But great question, Simon. Really appreciate that question. I'll share quickly. Is there a question in the chat? Did I miss? Let's see. Change toast into roast master. I like that. Thank you for that. And what I would say too is this. So the first game I played, not the first game, but the last game of the first day of improv was this game called Pass the Object. And this is a volunteer game. We'll play it. Jackie Lowell gave our group a white toilet brush. She said it was new. It looked new. It did not have a tag on it though. But people were turning it into cool things like a butterfly net. I could see the butterfly net. I could see the tennis racket and the badminton racket. And where was I? Freaking out, thinking this is going to be my first and last day of improv because I was completely blank. Nothing was coming to my head. My vision had tunneled. My breath was shallow. Nothing. And I was, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have another speaking ghost like I created in 8th grade, and I'm not going to do this ever again. And my mind was going crazy. And then I found a canoe paddle. I was not up the creek without a paddle. I had my paddle and I was going to survive this game until the person right next to me said canoe paddle and handed me the toilet brush. And that voice is going, I told you so. And all of a sudden I found nothing until I found myself brushing my teeth with a toilet brush. And I passed it on and I survived the game. At least to me, I got a few groans, a few laughs, and I go, okay, I can do this. But I learned one important thing is I didn't learn number 3 yet. That didn't happen right away. I learned this. You need to have 2 things. So once you get your canoe paddle, you got to find something else just in case the person next to you finds what you have. And I did that for actually more than probably 2 to 3 years. I did that because again, I didn't want to dare to suck. I wanted to succeed, funny, good. But eventually I let myself be present and something would come in. Now let's do this. Does everyone have a pen? And this is just volunteer. Whoever wants to do it can do it. Just raise your hand, come off mute, and share what you're going to do. This is Pass the Object on Zoom. And I start with my favorite to inspire all of you. And for those of you that didn't get that, was a brilliant demonstration of a lightsaber from Star Wars. Now, you don't have to turn it into something so dramatic. It can be as simple as a ear cleaner, Q-tip. Anyone else want to demonstrate? Raise your hand and demonstrate something. You can use sound effects if you come off mute. You can do it without sound effects. Who has something that they'd love to demonstrate with their pen? And yes, I'm losing my vision here. I should probably put my glasses on. Tioma?
Tiomsi, yes.
Tiomsi. All right. Show us what you got. Ah, yes, back to the old toothbrush. Thank you for bringing that call back in. Yes, Dorletta, I think you had something as well. And if I say that to you and you don't, that's okay too. Just say I pass.
I will improve this.
Yes.
Sariaso, a magic wand which can tidy up my hair.
Multiple purpose magic wand. I love it. And
With
did
a
I
hair-
yes and your magic wand? Yes, it's a magic wand is one of my favorite. If I could cast a spell on all of you, you would have fun during this game, and all of you would raise your hand excitedly and not judge yourself for what you come up with or don't come up with. Let's see if the spell works. Who else would like to go? Yes, Imara.
I have
Oh.
a straw.
Of course, I could see it. You did it very well. I could totally see the straw. Anyone else? Yes, Fred.
What you like, when you use in class, those paper pistols, you know?
Oh, you did Fred turned, so Fred was inspired and turned that straw into something that is dangerous or funny. Yes, Mikhail.
Yes, I'm like, "Ooh." And then
Oh, your thermometer at the end.
yeah, it's my thermometer. Yeah.
Very nice. You acted the whole thing out. So do you think, how could these skills be used in speaking? Is body language is incredible. Using functional gestures, like I'm going to hammer that point home. I'm going to catch that idea. Like I did, I threw up this thing that I hated to be wrong about because I made me wrong. Functional gestures work great in speaking. All right, anyone else have one they want to test out on this audience?
I have one. I can try.
All right. Oh, don't do it. Don't do this. I hope you test negative.
Yes, it's negative.
Very nice. Very nice. And is it Danielle? Did you have something you were showing us there?
Unmute. Yes, I have one.
Okay.
180.
What was that, a dart?
Yeah.
Yes, it was a darts arrow.
All right. Excellent. Who else wants to demonstrate something? Don't be shy. I maybe need to do that spell again. Spellicus Derdesuckus. And here's what I get to. It took me a while. So I'm really patient with people in it. And even in my own Toastmaster Club, I'm president of 2 Toastmaster Clubs. And I know I don't push people beyond what they're ready for, because there's certain times in my speaking career, I was not ready to fail. Because if I made a bad failure, I was way too hard on myself. I was going to make myself miserable. But I do want to create as safe a place as I can here for you to take risks. For those of you who've jumped up and volunteered, give me a thumbs up if you're happy you volunteered, or give me a thumbs down if you're not happy you volunteered. All right, usually that's the case. Usually that's the case, that you feel good. I took a risk. I did something. Now hopefully this is a minor risk in a safe place. Last chance for people to demonstrate. Otherwise, I'll give you a bunch of them in a row. Could be a pen. Yes, Fred, you got something?
Yes, I know. I don't know whether you see this Bond film with this pen, with this atomic bomb.
I feel like you're James Bondish, and you got the pen.
Yes, yes,
Don't-
and it was 3 times was when it went off. 1 or 2 times it was.
Yeah, don't push it 3 times, Fred. Don't push it 3 times.
Okay, sorry, 3 times.
You're going to end this meeting way early. One of the ones I always get. Let's direct you to play. Will you play with us today? And so there's so many things. Someone's turned it into a surfboard. Now that was in person. I could see them get on their pen and actually surf their pen. Yes, can be a harmonica. It can be. When I did this as a flute, she said, I think she said, you got to have your hands 2 different ways. I can't remember which way it was, but I did it incorrectly according to her. Yes, so you can turn it into a ton of different things. And let me check with this group. How many of you like a playful speaker? And if you love a playful speaker, 2 thumbs up. Yes. And here's the key too. One of the quickest ways to get present is just tell you what I wrote on my intention on every speech I did for years. Have fun. I put as a reminder because you might not know this, but I'm introverted and way too serious the early part of my life. I'm still very much a work in progress and working on being a better storyteller. That's why I created my Speaker Skills Plus group. And I, even as a professional speaker, there are times where I didn't do near as well as I wanted to do. And I wanted to work on my skills as a speaker, but working wasn't working for me. So I created an environment of inevitable success, but I had to toss in one word: a playful environment of inevitable success. Meaning an environment that I created was fun and play and speaking games that would grow my skills. And for some people, if anyone feels like it really wants to boost your skills, I give out a free golden ticket to take the ride. Send me an email, say, Chris, I want a golden ticket, or connect with me in any way. I love people that share how they've used these skills in their club or in their life or in their business. Come play with me. I say Speaker Skills Plus is like this. It's like riding a roller coaster. And some people ride a roller coaster like this. Woo! And some people go, ooh, let me off this thing. Now, you may be an ooh, let me off this thing speaker that wants to be a woo speaker, but play with it in that way. Yes, if you get the audience laughing, good things happen. What is the next line with that? You get their attention the whole time. Yes, and you release feel-good chemicals in their body when you get them laughing and playing. So I encourage you all to be more playful in what you do, because I think you all did this, or most of you did this. That adds power to it. What else? Let's play another game. Oh, we'll do another one where you don't have to go in a room or do it, but I want to do one more where you go in a room. This is called Caption That. It was one of the first, when we went to Zoom, full-time Zoom, I said, what's a game I could play right away with people? By Caption That, I'm going to strike a pose, and your job is to just put a caption on that or a headline. And remember, no bad headlines. I mean, anything you say is fine. Funny ones, like really well. And I'm going to strike this pose, and you put a caption on it. Come off mute or type it in the chat. And you got to do it quick, or I'm going to be frozen in this position. I can see someone's moving towards the chat. Mikkel's
Holding a liter of beer. I don't know.
Say that again, Mikkel.
Holding a liter of beer, like a huge mug.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm
I can't
feeling
see
it.
what it is, but
Yes. I'm feeling that. I could use that. Super glue. My hands are stuck together with super glue. Thank you for that. Yeah,
okay,
that was a foolish move on my part.
I couldn't
Now
see whether your hands were like holding like this or they were tight.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't dare dive. I prefer the liter of beer. I don't dare dive. No, I don't. There's a shark in there. I watched Jaws when I was 11, so I'm not diving into that pool. Any other guesses? But can you do this? I'm challenging the audience. Can you put your hands together just like this? Any other captions? All right. Looks like we run out of captions there. Smashing. Yes. Actually, I tried to smash a mosquito this morning. Smashing a fly. All right. Last chant on to fill it in. Super glue, powerful glue. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else would like to strike a pose and we will caption you? Do we have any posers out there? Do you dare pose? And what I would love for this group is do some things. This I can tell. This recipe will great for you look to yes and you. Did anyone see the movie by Jim Carrey, The Yes Man? I would encourage you. Yes, thank you, Fred. Is to say yes more often, see where it takes you. Now, sometimes you got to say no. I mean, someone says, Chris, are you saying to say yes all the time? No, I'm not saying that. Sometimes definitely tell people no because they need to hear no and right away. But other times look to say yes more often when you get a chance to volunteer, listen, be present, make the people around you look great. Dare to suck. And I don't think I asked you this question. how many people, I think I asked how many people in your life you'd like to yes and listen, be present, make you look great. Is that correct? You'd like a few? Did I ask that one? Yeah. Would you, and like a lot of them, how many of the people in your life do you think would like you to be that way? Yes, thank you for that. I think most of them would love you to be this way too. So think about that. If you want to be more charismatic as a person, a human being, as a speaker, yes and people. Listen to them. Listen to them with presence. Be present with them. And you don't have to be perfect in any of these things. I'm not. I'm still a work in progress in all of this. I'm still telling myself, get present, come back to the present, Chris. Set up other people to succeed. Does it look like as a speaker, I'm actually exhibiting all these things right now as we do this talk? Am I yes-anding you, listening as much with presence as I can, and setting my audience up to look great as well? I'm doing this as a speaker as well as a facilitator. Dare to suck, I'm actually doing a few things that I haven't done before, or saying a way that I haven't done before. I usually do this order this way right away. So I think, and let me ask you, how many of you can bring this recipe into your life if you choose? Give me a thumbs up if you can bring this recipe in then, okay? And I thank you for all those thumbs up. I think you all can. Now here's the big question. Oh, thank you, Amir. Yes, I like the slight slant to that. The big question really is, will you? And will you put in the effort? Because it will take some effort, or maybe play. You can play your way into this. Play yes and games with people. Play other games. And let's jump to this. Actually, let's jump to this game right now. It's called New Choice, and I need one volunteer. All you have to do is hold up your hand like this and say new choice when you want me to change. Fred, yes, to change an element of the story. So what's the story I'm going to tell? It's something like Three Little Pigs, Little Red Riding Hood, Rapunzel, Hansel and Gretel. Any suggestions on a story?
Do
you know Shrek as well?
Well, I can do I see, even if I don't know it, it still works. I saw it years ago, so let's do Shrek.
Okay.
Shrek, so you do, if you wanted me to change an element, you just go new choice. And I'll give you an example with the Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs, new choice. There were 4 little pigs, new choice. There was 1 lonely little pig. And that's kind of the, so I'll change an element. They built a house of sticks, new choice. They built a house of rocks, new choice. They built a house of concrete bunker, or a concrete bunker. Okay. That's the idea. So just change an element when I get to that. Shrek looked in the mirror one day and he said, "Oh my gosh, you are looking good."
No choice. No choice.
He said, "Oh my gosh, how did you become like this? This is a miserable existence." And he stopped looking in mirrors. He stopped looking in lakes and ponds, and he started to keep his eyes up.
No new choice.
He still looked into those things, but he was hard on himself. It just reminded him to be hard on himself. And that's kind of gave him his grumpy attitude about life. And he walked around all grumpy.
New choice.
Despite the fact that he was hard on himself, he still loved other beings. So he smiled. He was hard on himself on the inside, but he smiled on the outside and celebrated life. And people, he kind of was halfway in between. Sometimes he'd go, oh, he got a little jealous, a little angry. But most of the time, he appreciated what other people brought to the situation. Yes, he appreciated them. And when he appreciated them, he found they had a greater connection with the people in his life. He found that when he appreciated them, they didn't appreciate him back. And he felt everyone's against me. The world's against me. So he started to get angry. He grabbed a club and he started to whack houses down. He yelled at a donkey for some reason.
New choice.
He didn't yell at the donkey because the donkey was innocent, an innocent being. Why would you yell at an innocent being? But then it started talking in an Eddie Murphy type voice. Yes. And it really annoyed him. And he said, just back off, donkey. He said, come with me. I need to be annoyed because I think you're the trigger in life that is going to help me really grow. So thank you for all those great new choices, Fred. That's a version of new choice. Thank you for that. And what I want, and I'll test you if you want, we'll see how many thumbs up, thumbs sideways you get. because I'm gonna give you the option. I would love if you go into a breakout room with a partner and one say new choice to the other and tell a story like Three Little Pigs, Little Red Riding Hood. Do it for about 1.5 minutes each and be new choiced. And just notice how that feels. You're not going to do it perfectly. And the first time I did it, I struggled. The second time I did it, there was a spark of fun. The third time I did it, I was hooked forever on the particular game. And there's more lessons in this game than most people come back with some cool things for your life. So let's test this group. I don't want to push people into something they don't want to do. How many of you would be willing to go in a room with a partner and do new choice? All righty. Yes, let's do it. So Els, you have to probably close those rooms or cancel the rooms before and see if you can do 2 people per room. So your job is to tell a story that's not a true story. So it's easy to new choice elements. The other partner says new choice like this, because sometimes on Zoom it crosses out, you cancels out the voice. So raise your hand and go new choice. Be nice, maximum 3 new choices in a row, no more. And let them tell a little bit of a story, but look for a few elements that you can change so that you can take your story in some direction that you don't expect. And you'll see you have more creativity and flexibility than you thought you had. All right, Els, are we ready for breakout rooms?
Yes, I've created for every, in 2 sets.
Okay, and if you have any questions you have it now, otherwise go have fun in that. And I'll probably need to join one. Is there 2 people in my room or do I need to go there, Els? I'll just join it just to see.
Yes, please, if you can go to room number 5.
Hello, Els.
Hi.
You want to tell a super fast story?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let's go.
Yeah. What do you want to tell? Three Little Pigs or Little Red Riding Hood?
Little Red Riding Hood.
Okay, start with that.
The Little Red Riding Hood finally was able to escape from her mum and
New
go
choice.
to her. Finally was able to swim in across the river to visit the forest and eventually her grandma.
Okay.
So she was in the middle of the forest path when she noted a beautiful flower.
New choice.
When she noted a major hole in the middle of the forest.
Yes.
She definitely felt that somebody else could drop into this and harm themselves. So she was looking for sticks to close it up.
New choice.
So she was looking actually for a phone to ring the authorities that the deep hole was really terrible, terrible, terrible.
Nicely done, Els. Nicely done.
You're welcome.
Welcome back, everyone. How was that experience for you? Oh, look, two thumbs. Ah, yes. Thank you for saying yes to it. Is there anyone that wants to share their experience playing the game? Yes.
What I liked about it is that it tends to turn things around. So you do completely the opposite of what you was planning to do. And it makes it really funny.
And so that's a key that I learned playing this game. Going from the opposite of new choice, that contrast often creates funny and humor. Yes. And is it Sina? Did you have your hand up too as well?
It was really difficult for me because yeah, I got stuck. And when she said, I was with Magdalena, by the way, and when she said new choice, it was really difficult for me to find a new sentence and to continue on that. It was quite funny, but what I realized, my stories are not funny. It's getting kind of serious. And yeah, that was, I just wanted to be funny, but it didn't work for me, unfortunately.
Well, you pointed out a number of things for me as well. I wanted to be funny, and sometimes when you want to be funny, funny doesn't happen. This recipe actually leads to funny, actually, even if you're more honest with it. How can you be, it's yes and listen, be present, make your partner look great. How could just be honest with some answers, especially when they change you, you go to something you never imagined before. I struggled with it the first few times that I did it, and then it became some magical for me. So thank you for sharing that. A lot of people have had a version of your experience, so thank you for that. Fred.
Yes, impromptu speaking is for me one of the most favorites. Just this game I love, because at the point when I have to change something, I go more ridicule. So I make it even bigger or louder or more stupid or more unbelievable. And I think that's really the impact of it. To not take it too serious and just go, and you see what you stand. But at the end, of course, I lost my text because I couldn't speak anymore. I kept on laughing.
Laughter, I'm good for laughter. Laughter is contagious. And going big with this game, sometimes you don't want to share going too big in a speech. You can go too big sometimes for certain audiences. But let yourself expand, and someone goes, was that too big? And they go, oh my gosh, that was perfect. Just like you thought it was too big. Let yourself play and play with it. Any other thoughts on that? I know we've got about, what do we have, about 6 minutes left or 5 minutes left?
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you practice creativity? Because sometimes I feel that, yeah, I don't have enough creativity to have the story that I would like to create.
That's a great question. And one of the ways that I practice it now is play. And I think I've owned the domain name for years, playtist.com. I've never had anything up on there, but I wanted to mix play and practice together. And that actually probably fulfilled itself in my Speaker Skills Plus group. Doing these exercises, everyone that I've had in there resisted certain exercises to a degree at first. Sometimes they don't even realize how much more flexible they've gotten, how much more easy it is to say a word when it comes to you. This is just practice. And what I say, at least in American schools, when you go first in, people are very divergent thinkers. They can come up with all kinds of good ideas, but there's one right answer in most schools, and their convergent thinking happens and your creativity gets dulled. But I feel like I'm unlimitedly creative right now. And a part of it is just being present. If you get out of that fear stifles creativity and innovation and taking risks. If you let go of that fear, you're around someone safe. They can encourage you to dare to suck, dare to risk, dare to fail. And then sometimes you came up with something genius. Like most of the successful people failed a lot. And if you're willing to fail a lot, you're going to build that creative muscle. And just playing with this group, like playing today. And I knew choice myself. I use it as a tool for me. I don't want to do that. New choice. Fine, I'll do it. New choice on your attitude. I'm going to be excited about doing that. And now I say this, you can play with friends. Now, who has kids out there? Does anyone have kids? Okay. I warn you, if you have kids, this game is dangerous with your kids. They will love it. They will totally love it. And they will new choice you. We're going here. New choice, Dad. New choice, Mom. So just warning if you have it. But did I answer your question, Amira? Okay, yeah. All right. Any other questions? I love questions that take me to questions now. They take me to places I never knew I would go. Anyone else have a question, thought, comment? Otherwise, we can play this other game I need your participation in. I'm going to tell a story with all of you.
Can I ask a question still?
Yeah.
So you mentioned you were sweating like crazy before some presentations and stuff, and now obviously you have totally solved that issue, and it must have been a long road. But do you have some advices except the 5 things that you have behind you right now on how you got there? Like,
yeah, I've done a speech called "Let Them See You Sweat."
Okay, so you talk about it, and
right now. I can feel it on my nose. I can feel it here. I've got a hot light over there that I've turned on. And normally in the past, I would have had my air conditioning cranked in here. But I'm okay sweating now. Because I've made it okay, I sweat less. It was because I don't want to sweat, it would make me sweat even more. And I think part of it is also holding your breath or shallow breathing that causes your body heat to really go up. But my body heat goes up anyway. I'm gonna sweat. I just don't make myself bad for it anymore. And I'm not hard on myself internally, and that's made an incredible difference for me.
But you beat that fear, right? Because you had some fear around that, but you somehow beat that.
So occasionally that program will start to come up. You're sweating, and then I get to reprogram on it. Go, don't worry about it. You know, don't make it a big deal. Just go out there and give to your audience. And that's another thing I did. So when I'm sweating more, I'm focused more on me and the critical voice in me. I started a real focus on how can I deliver something powerful or positive to my audience. I want to send as many positive ripples through the world as I can. This recipe made me a better person. I was a no but kind of guy. And one of the biggest things I talk about is connection. You'd share a good idea. I'd say, no, but I got a better idea. And I didn't realize how disconnecting that was. When we connect to people, they want to go the extra kilometer or 10 kilometers for us because they care. We've made a connection. When we've disconnected, they want to push away. So I do my best to connect with my audience, and being vulnerable, actually, you can't connect to someone who's got masks and armor up. You can connect to someone who's actually being a little bit vulnerable and human. And most people, you might not be in program with Never Let Them See You Sweat, or people go, I don't want to play with him. That might not be your program, but my guess is you have some program that stops you from going out there. Does that answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll give you one in addition to it as well. A friend of mine in Toastmasters said this to me, and I highly recommend Toastmasters. I'll be in it the rest of my life. So if you're a guest here, I'd encourage you to join this club because it makes such a difference. A Toastmaster friend of mine said, Chris, fear and excitement are very close physiologically. Label it excitement instead of fear. Fear kind of takes you down the spiral down, but excitement takes you up. And just start labeling it excitement versus, and that becomes a program too. I'm going to label it more excitement versus fear. Love the questions. Any other questions?
I have one question, Chris.
Yeah.
You were talking about own it, right?
Mhm.
Do you have some recommendations how to own it? How do you have any steps to follow except the 5 you have mentioned?
Yes. One of the books I highly recommend is the book Mindset by Carol Dweck, D-W-E-C-K. She's a Stanford professor. And when I was doing improv, so I'll give you the 30-second version of the book. One I already almost alluded to. When your talents and abilities are fixed in stone, that's the fixed mindset. You can't get better. Most of us know you can get better. That's why we're in Toastmasters. But when you fail, you are the failure. Again, that's how I felt. The other version of the growth mindset is you can always grow your talents and abilities, and failure is just feedback. And I started to change that program from I'm the failure to it's just feedback. I'm the failure to it's just feedback. And eventually this program was huge at first. And this program was really small. And as I did it over and over, eventually this program became equal. And then this one got stronger. Now this one occasionally pops up a little bit again, but if I'm aware, I get to talk to it and go, failure is just feedback. And that was a big thing that helped me. And then belonging to Toastmasters, doing improv allowed me to take risks in safe environments and learn that. And then also the huge thing for me also was this, self-compassion for me, because I was brutally hard on myself. Becoming self-compassion, self-love, I think can change the world. If we are more compassionate with ourselves and love ourselves more, we can give more of that to other people. So those are just a few of the things I did that made an incredible difference in my life. And I love that question. So thank you for that. I know we're over time, so I don't want to push your time limit, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have. All right. It's been a pleasure and honor to be here with you all, the emperors and empresses. Thank you for all the feedback. Thank you for playing with me today. I hope you got something powerful out of the day. Give me a thumbs up if you got some value. Give me 2 thumbs up if you love what you got today. Thank you for all the, yes. Thank you for that. Great group to play with. An honor. Reach out to me anytime if you have an organization, a team that would benefit from this particular sharing. It boosts communication, it boosts creativity, it boosts connection and collaboration that lead to great innovation, engagement, and productivity. So any organization that brings it in, hopefully we'll have a ton of fun doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for your great workshop. We all loved it, of course. And I've noticed you asked for you have a lot of video recensions from audiences of your shows. If you would like, I can ask the audience here to send you a video as well about it. But we had also today for the total show. No, we had a general evaluator. We have GM, who has been responsible for that. So GM, at the moment, I give the stage to you.
Well, thank you, Fred. Good evening, all. Chris, I have to be honest with you. I have one big fear, and my largest fear is to evaluate a keynote speaker.
Remember, I love feedback.
That is also, no, let me correct, an A+ keynote speaker that is also a native speaker. So Fred, thank you so much for assigning this role to me today after this wonderful, wonderful speech. I know that we are a bit past time, so I'm going to try to keep it brief. Chris, I'm so amazed. I'm working with a team the whole day, and the way you set it up and created this safe environment. Virtually, never seen us. It really inspires me so much. I had a rough day today. I witnessed the funeral of my uncle today. It was a hard day, and you really uplifted me. So it's great to end this day in this fashion.
Thank you for.
Also,
sorry to hear that. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Also, the 5 points, it brought a smile to my face, because I thought, even though you can apply it professionally, I also had to think on parenting. If I think about my kids, this is what I try to do, at least. And for the last part, something I just want to share with you. This is my book, my audio book, Improv Wisdom.
Yeah.
I finished it 5 years ago, and today again, you inspired me to pick it up and do it a bit more. I had 2 tips from my Toastmasters meeting: to look more into the camera and look less to the notes. So I've taken up the challenge today, right now, with you, to give you that feedback, really a free flow of thoughts, and try to connect with you on this level. And well, it has been an amazing evening. I was really looking, I was a bit hesitant to join today, but I'm really glad that I did. So thanks again.
Thank you. I'm so glad you did and shared your vulnerability with me. It touches my heart, what you shared and how you shared it. I think that's one of the things I've learned from me, is when we come from our heart, whatever we say, it comes out beautifully, I think. So thank you for sharing it in that way. And I'm so sorry for your loss. And I'm glad I could do something little to lighten up your day a little bit.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gian, for this nice evaluation. And of course, we learn now here what I always tell here, and Chris is the perfect example. Let's make fun to fail.
And saying that, my girlfriend said this: when you fail, you actually celebrate it. And she used the phrase arugula just because she liked the way it sounded. So when anyone failed, she'd go, arugula.
Yeah.
And so you celebrate failure.
Yes, because that's the only thing, the only way to grow. And but most people do not understand it, and the Toastmasters are really the safe environment to do this. And never take yourself seriously, never grow up. That's like Peter Pan, you know. This be this little naughty boy or girl that still want to challenge everything, having fun. And this is exactly an example. You didn't just. You did just satisfy our needs again, and you made this a perfect evening. At the end of this month, and the 5th, we have normally 2 meetings, and this is an additional meeting. Then this ends the month April with a real good fun and learning. And that's and I hope you encourage the people. But I think seeing that everyone stayed till the end, so there were double thumbs up. So I they will keep an eye on you, and when you got another workshop with another different topic, I think you have a chance that they also show up. So we stay in touch, of course, because maybe we get some more out of it. So that's for you, and I will ask the members to send you, if they want to, a video recommendation evaluation.
That would be great. I love, any testimonials, any shares you can offer. And thank you for all the wonderful words in the chat too. Thank you for sharing that. It does mean a lot to me. And what I get to is acknowledging other human beings helps me feel good. To give actually feels good. And I'll share that. I learned that from my mother. At my 20-year high school reunion, there was about a dozen of my classmates that came up to me and said, "Your mom saved my life. Your mom's the reason I got off drugs and alcohol. Your mom made the difference in me graduating from school." She was a high school counselor, and she impacted positively so many lives, and it feels so good to give. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to give something out to all of you.
You're welcome. But I think that you got, karma when it's getting better, of course. And when you inspire people to do this, and that's the real thing about Toastmasters. When you inspire people, that's really go. When you're speaking up in public, you show your vulnerability. You show that everyone can do it. That's the most important thing, and while having fun. So this is what I want to conclude my thank you to you. I can't keep on talking on because I'm known for that. So our next meeting, of course, will be the May 6th. Chris, you're always welcome to join us every first, third, or fifth Thursday in the month when on a general meeting as a guest as well. So herewith, your asked. In the club bus, of course, all members already have received our mail. Our big moment is approaching. Our new executive team election. As you know, I'm resigning my post as a president, as well as Elsa's resigning her post as VP. So we need a new team who's stepping up the plate, who wants to grow and taking up the challenge. And that's the thing. It's a one-year job, but I can definitely tell it's a real pleasure to give something back. And I will be next year correctly as an area director. So that's another task for me, a challenge for me. But I will still be there. So I'm looking forward to your reply for an active role with our assistant, of course, in this new environment. Else, did I cover everything at the moment, or did we someone else to go? No.
No, I think indeed it was a lovely evening. You have covered everything. Thanks a lot also for our many guests which joined us tonight, and feel free to join again in the future.
And if you want to become a member, of course, you're all welcome to join our club and be a part of this fun club. With this, I conclude everything. So I thank everyone for being there as a guest, as a participant of this club. That's really important. Everyone did participate and we had fun. Thank you very much. Have a good night and see you till next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.
Thank you.